Okay, for those of you who saw my last live video, you know that I upgraded my platform from a 5600X to a 7600X, which involves a new processor, memory, board. So I've taken the old system and I'm going to be reworking it as I have somebody wants to buy it. So I'm going to put a slightly different cooler on it. I'm going to put a 1 TB NVMe drive in the system. We'll run some benchmarks. We'll do some stress tests. And after that, it's going to get shipped off almost clear across the country. It's going to go to Arizona, as a matter of fact. And what you're about to see here is going to be highly edited for time more than anything else, because there's a lot of things that you're just waiting for tests to finish. You're waiting for benchmarks to finish, so forth and so on. So there's not going to be a lot of dead air here. I'm going to be highly editing this thing, just giving you all the highlights of, how the tests go and so forth and so on. Other than that, that's pretty much what we're dealing with. So I'm going to get started here in a moment, and I'll be back at the end of the video with some thoughts. All right, so before I get started, just a couple of things I want to talk about. Off camera, I removed the old cooler, so that's gone. I removed the thermal pad from the M.2 heatsink because the thermal pad that was on there was a little, shall we say, messed up. So it came off in pieces. So what I did is I had some thermal pad material that I purchased, and what we did here is replaced that thermal pad with a new one. So I'll have to peel, there's a little bit of here that I'll have to peel off before I put the drive in, but that's basically what's going on here. So you've got that. The drive I'm going to be putting into this thing is a Kingston drive. It's one of these guys. It's a PCI 4.0, and it supposedly is up to 6,000. It's not the fastest, but you know what? It doesn't have to be. It's fine. I think the top speed is supposed to be 7,500, if I remember correctly. 6,000, 7,500. You can measure it, yes, but does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. So we're going to put this drive in here. And I'm going to put the heatsink cover on it. Which also I got to get the screw out here before I forget. There we go. Put that in there. Get this down. We will put the heatsink cover on it. And we'll go from there. There we go. It's that guy. Push that in. Oop. I forgot to do exactly what I said I shouldn't have done. There we go. Hold on. Got to put the peel on it. Let's peel this guy off of here. Let's get that. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, once again, let's try this again, shall we? Okie dokie. That one down. It's there. No, that one's not quite there. There it is. Okay. So that and that in. Okay. So I cleaned off all the paste off the old cooler. We're going to put a different cooler on this thing, and it's going to be one of these guys here. It's a 5 heat pipe design. No RGB on the fan, and I've already got it set up for AM4. So we're just going to lift this up. Pull this through here, like so. Alrighty. We've got our little spacers here. so, and like so, here, and here. Those go on. Got our 2 brackets. Should go here and here, like that. Go there. Go there. Don't worry, I will be putting paste on it. Don't panic yet. I just want to make sure that these are on here. Okay. These are down. Finger tight. Doesn't have to be more than that. Finger tight is more than adequate. It's not going to go anywhere. All right, so let's get some paste on here. Trusty MX4. Got like one of my go-tos. And they give you, along with the tube, give you a little spatula to deal with it. So we're going to try that. I don't always have the best of luck with that, but we're going to try. So we're going to go ahead and put some of this on here. And we're going to try the spatula. Now this is a lot easier to deal with than paste that comes with the Thermalright coolers. This is definitely a lot easier, a lot less headache to get this to go on. Once we get this squared away here, and don't worry that we don't have it 100% covered. There's plenty of paste here. It'll get spread out when we put the cooler on it. So I'm not concerned about any of that at this point. That should be more than sufficient. That should be more than enough. All right, so that's on there. All right, so we're going to put this on next. Grab a screwdriver here. Let's get one side started. Let's get the other side started. There we go. It feels like it. Yep, it's there. All right, we're just going to put this down a few turns at a time on either side. So we hit the stop. That one stopped. And that one stopped. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Put the fan on. Okay, there's one side. And there's the other side. Plug in to our CPU, which I believe is this one right here. Okay, so there we go. Now, since this is a 5600X, yeah, there is no graphics card, so I gotta go get a graphics card and get the box, the original box, the motherboard box for this, so I can put it up on the box, get the card to hang over, and then we're going to test fire this up here in just a second. And we've got motherboard box here, and we've got our graphics card, which is right over here. I'm going to plug that in. Now this is a very old GTX 1050. There is no supplemental power. It runs all off the PCIe slot. So we're going to stick this guy in here. So I'm going to go grab a power supply very quickly. All right, we got a power supply here. We're going to plug in our motherboard, our CPU power here. Okay. There's a 24 pin here. So. Always wants to be difficult. I don't know why they still make it a 20+4. It hasn't been a 20 pin in a while. There we go. So that's in. We're going to need our HDMI, obviously. We'll shove that into the graphics card here. All right. So that's there, that's there. I need an AC plug. Power supply, which is right here. That's it. All right, now let's go ahead and this here. I'm going to shrink this down just a bit. Okay, there we go. Power supply is on. We've got lights on the board. Let's jump our pins here. Should be right here. There we go. Fans are spinning. RGB RAM is lit up. It's going to take a little while because I did remove the CPU from the socket to clean off the paste. So it will probably take a little bit here to tray itself, but other than that, I think we'll be okay. There we go. All right, let's take this off the screen. There we are. Need to plug in a keyboard and mouse, which we will do here in a second. There we go. All right, so that should get us to F1 start. There we go. And there you go. As you can see, we're there. Now, I'll have to double check the BIOS version. I think there is, yeah, I think there's a BIOS update for this board, which I will do. That needs to be taken care of. So I will go look and see what we have for BIOS. Okay, here we go. I will have to go look that up in just a minute here. I'll come back and do that. Let's take a look at what we have here. Okay, everybody's there. Now, boot is going to be, yeah, there's not going to be anything there because we don't have the memory there. Okay, everybody seems to be there. Security settings. Let's look under advanced here. Let's see what it says for NVMe. Okay, NVMe configuration. It shows the Kingston drive, so the drive is there. So, looks like we're good. I don't see any problems here so far. Our CPU temperature is 40°C. That's fine. Okay, so everything's there. So I'm going to go take a look and look at the ASRock website and check for a BIOS update. So I will be back in just a little tiny bit here. Okay, so yes, there was a BIOS update. No surprise. The BIOS in this is at least a year old. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to plug in the USB thumb drive with the latest BIOS on it. We'll give it a moment or two to recognize the drive. And then we're going to go to Tool. We're going to go to PC Flash Utility. It sees the drive there. There's the file right there. So we'll select this file here. And we don't have to worry about any BitLocker crap because this is a new drive. So we're going to go ahead and let it do its thing. Do I really want to do this? Yes, of course, I really want to do this. All right, so that's it. We're just going to let it do what it needs to do. And when it's finished, we'll come back and go from there. Okay, so we get this interesting little warning here, which has got to do with new FTPM firmware. That's fine. Change the data structure of the storage space, which we don't have to worry about. This is nothing that we need to be concerned about. We don't have BitLocker installed. There's nothing on this drive. It's fine. So we're just going to hit yes to reset the firmware. And we're going to hit the Y and let it reset it because we don't care. We do not care. There's nothing on the drive. Okay, so all it detects is the flash drive that I have plugged into it for the BIOS update and shows the Kingston, and that's it. So we are there. Let's run. I'm going to go right back into setup. There you go. I'm going to pull out the thumb drive that has the BIOS update on it. Get rid of that. So there we go. Everything seems to be working pretty well. And we've got all of, let's see, we're going to go into the AI tweaker here. I believe that's where we have to go. Actually, what I want to do first, before I do anything else, I want to double check and reset the BIOS to defaults, just to be on the safe side. And I don't remember which key it is for this. It might be F9. Nope, it's not F9. You know it's not F7 because that's easy mode. So, nope, that's the fan curve. Okay, so, all right. Let's go into advanced. Let's just double check, make sure the FTPM is on. It's on, that's correct. There's nothing wrong there. Alrighty. Resizable bar. Let's see what resizable bar. Resizable bar should be on. We want to make sure that that's on. Okay. And the hotkeys. Let's look at what hotkeys are where. Ah, there it is. F5. Okay, so let's go hit F5. It's an Asus board. I'm used to ASRock boards, but so we're going to load optimize defaults. Hit OK. I'm going to hit F10 to save that just to be sure. So that way we've got the defaults. All right, now let's go. Once we get into this BIOS, let's see what it's selected for defaults, just to be on the safe side. Okay, our memory is not set correctly. And I know that it runs at 3200 because I had it running that way previously. And there is a overclock tuner. Let's see. It's DOCP on an Asus board. There it is. I'm going to hit that. There we go. It sets all of our timings. 3200 CL16, which is what this memory is. Shouldn't have any problems running at this speed because I ran the system for 3 years at 3200 CL16. So that's all I'm going to do to this. At this point, I'm going to hit F10. Okay. And that's it. The next step is we're going to plug in our Windows 11. And yes, it is getting Windows 11. We'll plug in the Windows 11. There we go. Let's just see that everything is set correctly. There it is. 32 gig DDR4 set at 3200. We're good. All right, so I'm going to plug in a Windows 11 USB thumb drive. And I'm just going to hit the reset pins on this. And at this point now, it should boot from that drive. And we'll do our Windows 11 installation. And we are off to the races. So the rest of this is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going to fast forward through all of this. Once I get this thing set up, United States English, that's all there. That's correct. Keyboard is US, that's correct. Install Windows 11. And it says I'll agree that, oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Well, we don't have to worry about it. It's an empty drive. Again, it's an empty drive. We'll hit next. Product key, there should be, don't have a product key right here because this has an OEM key associated with it. Once we plug the network in, which we are not doing at the moment, but there is a key, an OEM key for Windows 10 Pro. It will activate Windows 11 Pro without any problem. So we're going to put Pro on it. We're going to hit next. There's license and terms and all this other crap, except nobody reads this stuff. It should only find one drive. There it is. It finds the drive, obviously, with the Windows 11 installation. And there's our main drive right there. It's already highlighted. We're going to hit next. And just confirms our choices. Install Windows 11 Pro. Keep nothing. Well, there's nothing to keep. Again, for the umpteenth time. For the 18th time, Ken, there is nothing on the drive. And we're going to hit install and just let it go through its paces. And we'll come back on the other side and go through the setup. Local user account. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go through all the motions here. States, obviously. US keyboard, obviously. No other layout. Okay. Ethernet not connected. Connected to a network. Okay, so it's... Okay, this is new. This is very interesting. Okay, so I think at this point what I'm going to have to do is hit Shift F10? Shift F10. There we go. Alrighty. OODE. And I got to remember if it's forward or backslash. Bypass NRO. There we go. It'll restart, which is no big surprise. Once again, we go through the United States, go to the US, skip that. Don't have internet, right there. Okay, so we're going to put in, for now, the generic user. The person who's going to be winding up getting this can add or delete accounts like they will. There's no password. All right, and we're going to take off a lot of this crapola. I'm going to leave the location. All of this is going away. Advertising ID, all that's going away, except. Obviously, without an internet connected, none of this stuff will show up. That's fine. No, we do not want to do that. No, thank you. All right, at this point, I should be able to plug in the network cable. And we should be able to, at that point, there we go. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. There we go. So we're all set. So we're going to come into here, and let's look at the display settings real quick. Alrighty. 150% scale. No, I don't think so. I'll compromise and do 125. And let's just double check. Yep, it's there. That's fine. Alrighty. So from this point on, we're going to do some Windows updates and get that started. So let's go into here and into settings and Windows Update. And we'll do a check for updates because that thumb drive I made is at least a few weeks old, and we'll just let this go ahead and do its thing. Okay. All right, so we're all set to go here. We're going to do restart now. I believe everything is done. Yeah, the NVIDIA display, that doesn't surprise me. Okay, so we're going to just hit restart. Okay, so there's our first round of updates. We're going to go back in and double check it one more time. And this is obviously reset itself again. Display settings. Yeah, it keeps wanting to set it to 150%, and we don't need it that big. Alrighty then. Let's go back into here. Alright. Windows Update. Let's double check it one more time. Yeah. It'll retry it, and then it'll eventually go. But then again, it doesn't really matter. This is only the test card we're using just to validate that the system's running. At this point, it can retry anything it wants to. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine. All right, so we're all set. Everybody's happy. All right, so the next thing I'm going to wind up doing here in just a moment or two is we're going to run some tests. We're going to run Cinebench, Prime 95. We just want to make sure that the CPU stays cool with the cooler that I have on it, which, again, shouldn't have any problem whatsoever doing that. So let me go grab some, let me go grab a thumb drive, and we'll get started on that procedure. Okay, so let's plug in a thumb drive here, and let's copy some files over. And we're going to take, still have a Windows 10. Yes, I still have a Windows 10 thumb drive. All right, so we've got Cinebench R23. We're going to take that. We're going to take Crystal disk mark, hardware monitor. I think that's all we really need at the moment. And we're going to copy, bring them over to the desktop here. Okay, so there we go. All right, so let's start off with Crystal disk mark. Let's run some tests on the drive. All right, so C drive, 1 gigabyte. There we go. Everybody's set. Let's run all the tests and let's just see what happens. Looks like we have pretty good numbers here. It certainly met its advertised 6,000 by, I would say, a comfortable bit. And there you go. There's your numbers for that. All right. So that being said, that looks good. Let's pull up hardware monitor. Let's get that up and running now. And we're just going to hit continue because everything I need is already in this version. I don't need the absolute latest version. So we're going to put this up here. Let's close this. Let's go to Cinebench R23. We're going to pull that up. Okay, software license, accept, it's fine. Okay, so we're going to start a multi-core test. We'll hit start here. And I'll bring hardware monitor up to the forefront. And we're just going to let this go. And what I'm looking for here is I want to see what the CPU temperature gets up to while it's running R23. So I will let that go. It's roughly about a 10-minute test. That should be more than sufficient. And I'll just let it run and we'll see what we get. Okay, there we go. That's our numbers for Cinebench R23. As you will probably take note here, we never broke 70. So Cinebench says everybody's dumb and happy. All right, one other thing that I think I might want to try to do, and I'm going to come back here. I'm going to come and grab Prime 95. And just for the hell of it, I'm going to run that too. And see what happens when we run that. Okay, so there's our workers. We hit OK. We're going to run this here. We're going to close this here. And we're going to bring HW monitor to the front. And just watch what it does. Now, as you can already notice, it's a much more of a workout for the CPU than Cinebench R23 was. So it will be interesting to see if we break 70 or 75 at some point while this test is running. Okay, so we've run this for at least 20 minutes. And you can see where we are for temperatures. Looks like we still haven't quite, we got very close, still haven't quite reached 70. So I'm going to stop the test and we're going to watch how quickly those temperatures drop down. And there you go. You can see how quickly it's dropping. So I would say we're good. Everybody's fat, dumb, and happy. So a couple more things I want to check here real quick. But I think that we're pretty much done here, at least with most of this. Two other things I want to double check. First of all, I want to hit the activation and make sure that it is. Activation settings. We're going to go here real quick. Active. Digital license, which is what it's supposed to be. It's an OEM key. So that part's there. One other one I want to double check is encryption. Okay. Now we have data encryption here. We have manage file encryption certificates, manage BitLocker. I believe what I'm looking for is this one. Okay, so core isolation. Let's see, manage BitLocker. Okay, let's try this here. And BitLocker is off. And I have no intentions of turning it on, so it is off. All right, so that's it. We have redone the platform. We've stress tested. Double check the activation, double check the encryption. I think we're pretty much done at this point. I will have a few parting thoughts shortly. Okay, so we're done here. Everything worked out just fine, as I knew it would. Platform's been refurbished. We've got better cooler on it, slightly better than what was on it. We've got the 1 terabyte NVMe drive. We've got Windows 11 installed on the system. We did all the stress tests that we needed to do. We did the benchmarking of the NVMe drive. Everything just went perfectly fine. Made sure that that Windows was activated, as you saw in the video. It's definitely activated. And just double check to make sure encryption was off. Those are my only two major concerns. Is whether or not encryption had been set on or not, and it hadn't been. Then we're not going to bother with that. So I got to pack this up. I've got to get it off to Arizona, and that'll probably happen early next week. It's Friday the 3rd of January as I'm recording this, so it'll probably go out like Monday or Tuesday next week. Hopefully it shouldn't take too terribly long to get out to Arizona, and hopefully the person who was kind enough to pay me for the old platform is satisfied with what he sees here on the video and what he sees once he gets the package in hand. Other than that, you folks have a good weekend. As you can tell behind me, it's rather dark. So I'm pretty much done for the night. That's it. If you have any questions or comments, obviously leave them down below the video. I will answer questions as I see fit, and that's pretty much it. Everybody have a good time, and hopefully I'll see you sometime, maybe late January, early February. I don't know. Again, I don't do a lot of stuff just because doing that much content is another job, and I'm retired and I'm not really terribly interested in having another job at this point. Anyway, thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you down the road. Bye.